Tonight, we're continuing to follow the impacts of the wildfires burning across the state. This as the fire threat remains to be a big concern.
Fox 25's chief meteorologist Jack Griffin tracking our next weather maker. And Jack, the wind, a big factor in this one as well.
That's right, guys. We are looking at wind to be unfortunately increasing as we head into the night tonight, and that's then going to be an issue for our fire danger as we head into the overnight hours. As you can see right now on the wind gusts, we're already noticing the winds across the panhandle and into the far western side of the state really beginning to pick up now at this point. So we're looking at the strongest winds now working their way into portions of western Oklahoma and the panhandle, where there's going to be gusts more out of the west at that point, closing in at this point, getting closer to 50, maybe even 60 miles an hour. In the panhandle of Texas, there's actually been multiple wind gusts reported well over 60 miles an hour. So unfortunately, it is on the way. And as we head into the overnight hours, we'll then be looking at our winds to be changing again from the west to out of the northwest. And some of those wind gusts, especially on the western and northwestern parts of the state, could be very, very high as 60 plus miles an hour. It probably isn't going to be as windy for all of us like it was on Friday, but there's definitely a chance that we could again see some very fast winds across the northwest part of the state. But you'll notice that even as we go into Wednesday afternoon, we're still looking at potentially wind gusts in the northwest part of the state near 50 miles an hour, and a lot of us still over 40 miles an hour. So even though it's a colder wind, the wind will be out of the northwest, and so the fire danger is still going to be an issue for the day tomorrow. We have our high wind warnings for the west side of the state, which are kind of more in that mustard color, and then the wind advisory everywhere else. And these go until 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So it's going to be a windy day regardless of the time of the day, but it's really going to be the windiest during the morning and early afternoon hours. We've also got a new addition to our blowing dust advisory across the west side of the state because there's dust coming in from the panhandle right now. We can already kind of see that Woodward is down to 5-mile visibility, Amarillo is at 7, and Guyman isn't reporting anything, which usually does mean that the winds are picking up there and it's kind of playing with the sensors. Now, I don't really have much in the way of reduced visibility just yet here in the metro on our Lucky Star Casino Skycam picture, but it will likely happen during the overnight hours. So we got to be careful if you work a late shift or if you go into work early in the morning. The blowing dust could be a problem early tomorrow morning. And you'll see that we still have a number of hot spots and wildfires that we're watching out for. Things were a little bit more calm this afternoon, but with the winds changing direction and accelerating overnight tonight, the fire threat actually potentially kind of goes up a little bit for some of us overnight tonight. So the red flag warning remains until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So a lot going on here with our system coming through for tonight and into tomorrow. Those northwest winds cool us down to about 55 for the high tomorrow. And you'll see that we're still going to be talking about the lower threat for fire danger even as we head into the weekend and early next week. Things are drastically lower, which is great, but we're not gone. They're not gone with those fire conditions. So we'll talk about that coming up in our main forecast. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Jack. And firefighters continuing to battle the 33 road fire near Meridian, burning since last Friday.
We told you last night this fire was not under control at all, but Logan County Emergency Management says it's now about 25% contained. Fox 25's Paige Taylor shows us the damage it has already left behind.
Joseph Miller lost everything he had in the 33 road fire, everything except his 2 dogs.
I didn't lose my family. My family's my 2 dogs. I love them more than anything around here, anything.
Miller lives in a Meridian neighborhood near Charter Oak Road and Choctaw Road. He says he tried to save his home, but eventually had to leave for his own safety.
After about 3 hours here fighting this, I had probably so much smoke that I inhaled by that time, because I'm holding my breath running around.
The 33 road fire has been burning since Friday, with crews and super scooper planes working to contain it. As of Tuesday afternoon, the fire was 25% contained, according to Logan County Emergency Management. Officials say 49 structures have been destroyed and at least 32,000 acres have burned, changing the lives of those impacted, like Miller.
This is just a trial. That's all it is. It shows you who you are in these situations.
Paige Taylor, Fox 25 News.
And with fire still a possibility overnight, the National Weather Service is urging you to take precautions. You'll want to avoid doing anything that could risk sparking a fire.
That includes pulling along the side of the road, maybe in tall grass, having something dragging behind your vehicle that may spark. That sort of thing can unintentionally start a fire.
U.S. staff says it's also important to remove debris, loose limbs, or anything that could serve as a source for fire ignition or fire spread near your property. The Oklahoma County Emergency Management Office says a wildfire in Luther starting on Friday has now destroyed at least 22 homes.
Fox 25's David Chasnoff was in Luther today touring some of the damage.
A culmination of my whole life. I've collected tools and everything and put it all in one spot, and it just went poof.
Daniel Wilkerson says as the fire came in from the west Friday afternoon, his family and pets didn't have much time to get out of the house.
Come here. You know, you might go through an emergency plan beforehand or something like that, but your feelings and everything else seem to overrun when you're in the moment and trying to grab stuff.
His wife and 21-month-old twin babies made it out alive, but one of his cats died.
There isn't much that will be able to be saved because it all got way too hot.
Wilkerson says he lost a lot of vehicles to the fire.
That one, that one, that one, that one. Lost a couple motorcycles.
The home he built 7 years ago is destroyed.
It's amazing.
County Emergency Management. That evacuation notice went out at about 3:15 this afternoon, so shelter operations here have wrapped up for now. But more evacuations could be coming down the pipeline given expected conditions. Here you can see crews putting out hotspots near Harrah Road and East 760 Road in Logan County on Tuesday afternoon.
Most of us out here, we're not scared of tornadoes. It's about, we're scared of fires.
The fire that tore through this area sent residents fleeing from their homes. The impacted area was north of County Road 76 and south of the Cimarron River and east of Dobbs Road and west of 3310 Road, according to the National Weather Service. Randy Marshall and his family were among the evacuees.
Everyone in this whole area evacuated within about 45 minutes.
The scorched ground shows the wide-ranging path this fire took. Reports of the fire started coming in shortly after 3 p.m.
I think there's probably 5 different departments out here and private firefighting out here, and it got put out pretty quickly.
Tuesday marked the 5th day in a row of fires in Oklahoma after breaking out statewide on Friday, burning tens of thousands of acres so far. And Logan County Emergency Management officials told us that they would remain out in the area monitoring conditions amid concerns of flare-ups. Even right now, it's still very windy out here and very dry in the area. No word yet from local authorities on what caused that fire. Live in Guthrie, Tom Ferguson, Fox 25 News.
Tom, thank you. A local church is partnering with World Vision U.S. programs to deliver disaster relief supplies to those impacted by the fires in Logan County. According to Ebenezer Baptist Church, 2 trailers loaded with products arrived today. Organizers will be setting up at the Town of Langston Farmers Market at noon tomorrow to hand out the supplies to those in need. They'll have bottled water and food along with basic household necessities, clothing, and blankets.
The Oklahoma Insurance Department is ready to support those impacted by the fires and high winds. A lot of people looking at scenarios like this. We've already seen it from a couple of our reporters out there. So we've got some steps they recommend you take if you experience a significant loss. The first is to contact that insurance company as soon as possible. You want to ask about additional living expense coverage. The insurer should be able to quickly get you a check to help with a temporary living situation and other things like clothes and food in the early stages. Then, when it's safe to do so, you want to take pictures. You want to document the damage and keep in mind your insurance company has the right to inspect your property. So the insurance department says cleanup may have to wait. So you got to leave everything as is when you take those pictures. You also need to keep track of your expenses expenses as you go out there. And one big thing here, save those receipts. Your insurance company may reimburse you. So for those who have experienced minor damage, insurance experts recommend taking a little bit of a different approach.
Don't ever call claims first. Call your agent or call a roofer to come out and get an estimate. Make sure you talk to your agent, find out what your deductible is. If the amount of the damage is less than your deductible, then you are probably not going to want to put in a claim on that because it'll be a $0 claim. And those still count against you on your insurance premium.
And the Oklahoma Insurance Department also urging you to be cautious when dealing with contractors. They recommend getting more than one bid. Check those references and phone numbers. Contractor complaint information is collected by the Better Business Bureau. You can contact the Construction Industries Board to make sure the contractor has a valid license. Don't pay anything up front. Make your final payment before the job is done. And avoid contractors who offer to waive your deductible or promise a rebate because according to the OID, it's against the law.
More than 60 Red Cross disaster workers are currently on the ground to help with relief efforts. Since Friday, they have provided 250 overnight shelter stays and served more than 1,500 meals to families. Teams are continuing to assess damage to more than 230 homes. If you have been displaced, there are shelters at Payne County Fairgrounds, Luther Community Center, and the Methodist Church of Manford. A recovery resource center will open tomorrow in Manford to those impacted by the recent fires. The center will be at the Manford High School Commons, where residents can find help with resources for housing, SNAP benefits, insurance claims, debris cleanup, and more. This will be open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
The Fred Quinn Happy Tales Dog Park in Midwest City will be closed tomorrow as public works crews continue their cleanup efforts. According to city officials, crews still working hard to remove damaged and dead trees brought down by recent winds. All sections of the park will be closed until their work is done.
And that was your big story breakdown tonight. You can stay up to date on the status of the fires and the damage they have caused on OKCFox.com.
Plus, Fox 25 teaming up with the Red Cross to help those impacted by the Oklahoma wildfires. To donate, scan the QR code on your screen there. All the money raised will stay right here in Oklahoma.